My friends, good day. This video is for people who say, I'm smart, I'm not stupid. And yet I keep failing, I keep falling down. So what's going on? Let me tell you something. Statistically, at first, when you start with very low intelligence and then it increases, the intelligence quotient at first, there's a correlation between the increase in intelligence quotient and success. Then we reach a point, roughly an intelligence quotient of 120, which is an average intelligence after all. It's not a high or superior intelligence, just a pretty average intelligence. From there, we reach a point and we observe a lack of correlation. This means that an increase in intelligence quotient does not necessarily and clearly does not determine or increase the chances of success. We can say that even from a certain point, intelligence can work against you. So what's the story here? What's the problem? It means you can be intelligent and you can fail. So what is it then? There are many people who have thought about this issue, but you know, intelligence after all is a tool. It's like a hydraulic press. So imagine you have a 50-ton hydraulic press. It's capable of really delivering a lot of force, a lot of intelligence. But you want to make jewelry, you want to make earrings. What are you going to do with those 50 tons? You're going to use 50 tons of force. You're going to smash everything. There will be nothing left. You'll just have crumbs. The problem with intelligence is the same. You can have too much intelligence to the point where it starts to become a handicap. So today we're going to try to talk about it, and I'll try to give you maybe one or two approaches that will help you get through it anyway. Stop living your intelligence as a handicap. Maybe that's the goal of this video. So, first of all, when an intelligent person wants to do something, they start by analyzing. Because you're intelligent, you have a huge analytical capacity. We can throw data streams at you, like terabytes of data, and you're able to absorb them, you're able to structure them, analyze them, and extract the lessons they contain. And then put all that well structured in your head. It's amazing. You're a real machine. You're a human ChatGPT. Let's say yes, but what's the problem with that? The problem is that by analyzing too much, you can end up in a situation where you're stuck in your analysis loop. You're analyzing, at some point, you can even become an expert in a field. Yet, while you're becoming an expert in that field, people who might be less analytical than you are taking action, doing things. They're succeeding in that field. So maybe they don't know as much as you, they know much less than you, they're not as strong as you, I admit it. Question against question, you win. However, while you're thinking, why did they succeed? Or you're thinking about why your next plan has chances or risks of failing? Because that's the problem. When you start overanalyzing, you also start discovering all the reasons why it's not going to work, all the reasons why it's going to fail. Isn't that right? But if you look at projects, you can take anything. Let's take Microsoft, for example. Their flagship product was, now they have a lot of products, but originally their flagship product was Windows. As some people say, it's junk, it's lousy, it's full of bugs, it has a lot of security holes, you get attacked by viruses, it's slow, it crashes, right? It has every reason to fail, doesn't it? But still, it's a company that's worth trillions. Okay, Windows is literally everywhere, used everywhere, right? Meanwhile, there are plenty of people who swear by other operating systems like Linux or others, who say they're better, well, better, but they have an absolutely tiny market share. You know what I mean? That means that with overanalyzing, you're able to find more reasons why a project won't work. And then you risk getting stuck because you say, no, I absolutely have to solve this problem. But when you seek perfection, it often means that people who are intelligent, who are very analytical, well, are often perfectionists. The problem with perfection is that you'll just wait for your project to be, but then absolutely solid in every aspect, in 100% of its aspects. And then, well, that day will never come. So you spend your life analyzing, you spend your life learning. You know a lot of things about a lot of fields. You're extremely good, yes, but you don't take action. You don't do something that will generate action, that will generate value. Right here, I'm telling you a story. A long time ago, I was a teenager. I was in Algeria, and I had a friend who advised farmers because the farmers, well, they would come to him from everywhere, right? And he didn't have an office. He gave advice at a cafe table. That's where he met them. They would come with their files, right? And then, many farmers stopped at elementary school. Many did 2 or 3 years of elementary school and then stopped. Some at 10 years old, I've seen them. At 10 years old, they're driving a tractor. At 14, they're driving a Burliet truck. You see? And these are people who very quickly were thrown into work. Their academic knowledge is close to zero. They haven't traveled much. They haven't met people. They live in their own environment. You see, so the worst thing that can happen to them is when they're sent a document and told they have to go to the ministry with it to fill out a file. They're completely, completely lost. That's where my friend would step in and he would go to the ministry for them, put on his suit, his tie, all that. He would take a 6 a.m. flight to the capital to visit the ministries and make their requests. So one day I was sitting at a table with him and some people arrived. You stop. A registration 14 right. They arrived, gold teeth, turbans, all that. The guys, they're talking about their project. And then he asked them, what's your budget? What kind of budget do you have? And they say yes. In the account we have, he was talking in euros, 800,000 euros. Me, I was in shock. I was a little shaken. My friend was watching me and discreetly nodding his head like this. That means, record it in your head, record it at 1,200 frames per second, record this scene. You see, what I mean is they're people on the ground, they're action-oriented people, they're very focused on financial success. When they talk in hundreds of thousands of euros. They talk in millions. Even, they're relaxed while you're busy thinking about how and why things aren't working, why there are obstacles, and why it's complicated. You see what I mean? So what I'm telling you is take action. Don't wait for the project to be perfect. Secondly, and this really maybe it's the thing I learned the hard way, and I can tell you that it opened up my life. It changed my life. So let me tell you what it is. Attack right away. Attack, and learn by doing. It's something that might surprise you. It's something that might shake up your habits, but do it that way. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'll give you a simple example. Okay, but what I'm saying, you can apply it to any project. Let's say you need to create a website, a WordPress site, for example. So what you'll do in your usual way is you'll start looking for information. You'll go on forums, you'll go on Reddit, you'll go on Twitter, you'll download PDFs, you'll watch YouTube videos, and this will happen over time. You'll end up becoming an expert in WordPress. But have you actually set up a website? No. You're even able to list 10 reasons why WordPress might not be the right choice for you. The mistakes, the security, the weight of the plugins. GTM metrics, things like that, PHP, memory allocation, exhausted, stuff like that. You'll come across all of that, right? But you won't have a website. So let me tell you something. You want to launch a website. So here's what you do. You Google hosting, internet, you look at the first three, you click on one at random, and you move forward. Create an account. You enter your credit card, you rent some space, you don't even know where to start. It's okay. Take that space, take it, you'll get an email. They'll tell you, here you go, your account, your portal, your interface. You click, you log into the interface, you explore it, you read. You'll figure out how to upload files or set up a file transfer protocol account. You create one but aren't sure what to do next. It's not important. Just Google what to do with a file transfer protocol account. They say download your clients, just do it. I fill in where you read and search. You're smart, right? I've said from the start of this video that you're smart. And you do things and you learn. By doing so, two things will happen at the same time. You're going to make mistakes. It's not a big deal. While you're learning, you're also doing. And the advantage with that is that in 3 days, here's what will happen. Not only have you gotten through all the initial blocks, you've already become really good. But on top of that, you have a website running on WordPress, and that's what's great. So, of course, later on, you'll realize that you rushed things and that the host you picked at random isn't very good, and that's okay. You can always move somewhere else and you'll Google how to change hosts. You'll find another one. You know what I mean? You'll learn by doing. And do that for everything. Action, action. Do you know the song by Elvis Presley? I can't play it for you. I don't have the rights to it. Little less conversation, more action, please, more action. Stop talking in your head. Stop talking to others. Stop talking in your head. You see what I mean? You're listening to voices in your head while people are taking action, acting. Stop talking, stop. Now you press stop when the video is over. You leave right away. You start taking action. All right. Very important. So, another thing. People, often intelligent ones, are, as I said, stuck in analysis paralysis when they have a project. One of the stories of analysis is one of the objections. I often hear from brilliant people, it's like, yeah, but there are other people who have done it. Oh, yeah. Very interesting project, but there's someone else. So, let me tell you something. There are 8 billion of us on Earth, so you're rarely going to come up with an idea or have an idea that hasn't already been done by someone. Him. It's tough and hard, right? Yes. Open the phone book if it still exists and see how many pizzerias there are in your city. There are people who opened a pizzeria even though there were 20 others, right? There are hairdressers who opened a hair salon even though there were 15 others, right? And it works very well for them. How many airlines are there? You see what I mean? If you start saying, I want to create something because I'm smart. So what I want is, I want to measure myself, right? Against the market. I want to measure myself against life by creating something absolutely unique that humanity has never heard of. I mean, well, the only unique thing I can suggest to you is to go roll in a barrel of wax, then in multicolored feathers, and run downtown. You know, you'll do something unique that gets people talking and creates a buzz. They won't see that again in the next 12 months, you know, but otherwise, come back down to earth a little, come back down to earth a bit, come down. Don't try to send a rocket to Mars. Try to do simpler things, you know. Because often intelligent people start getting into very complicated thought patterns, and these very complicated patterns make it so they can't do simple things. They feel that if they do something simple, it's somehow beneath their dignity. It's too simple for me. Other people have thought of it. It's like someone working with the hydraulic press I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and then they always feel like they have to use 50 tons. Because those presses often have a button or a setting that lets you apply different levels of force. Just because you have a 50-ton hydraulic press doesn't mean you have to work in binary. In 0 and 1, it means all or nothing. It means using 50 tons or nothing at all. You see what I mean? The biggest challenge, if you have an intelligence quotient of 145, your biggest challenge is to use your head, operate at 125, make it work at 125. Remove the part that blocks you, remove the part that keeps going in circles, remove the part that overanalyzes, remove that part that keeps you from sleeping at night. You see, stay at 125, stay in the average, come back down to the average. I'm not telling you to burn out your neurons. On the contrary, I'm telling you to preserve them, to use the spikes of your intelligence to the maximum when it's necessary. But in most cases, the majority of problems don't require that 150 tons. The majority of problems don't require an intelligence quotient of 150. Okay, it's not necessary for most problems and beyond that. That's why I was telling you that you can be too smart for a problem and you're going to get super stuck. And then you're just going to develop frustration. Seeing people who think less than you, who have less ability than you, succeed. But of course, they don't overthink things. They don't have those 20 or 30 intelligence quotient points that make them go in circles. You see what I mean? There you go, my friends. This was just to try to wake you up a bit about certain things. Good luck. I put a link in the video description. It's Kilu's, a partner of the channel. They are based in France and approved by France Travail, and in some cases funded by France Travail. and they help people find a job when they've lost their work or to change jobs. When they're fed up, when they feel stuck, they can provide support and help them jump somewhere else. I should have said it earlier in the video, but I'm not great at marketing, which is why I have few sponsors. But Kiluz likes me a lot. He forgives me for this kind of thing. Thank you, my friends, for listening up to this point. And then try to reduce a little, lower the heating, look at the thermostat and try to lower the thermostat. You'll see, you'll save your brain cells and you'll go much further. See you very soon.